Hello everyone. So my name is Jimmy. Nice to meet you all. I'm going to figure out how to put this Honda 3000 generator into my Arctic Fox 992 camper. I don't like the Onan generator. It's loud. It runs constantly at full speed and loud noise when most of the time all I'm trying to do is charge the batteries after a couple of days, and I want to have power for the evening to run my laptop if my laptop battery is going dead and the movie's not over yet. So I want to get a Honda in there. I've always wondered why they don't do it, and I think it has to do with the configuration of how Hondas are tall and cube shaped, and the Onans are narrow. They're less than 18 inches tall. But part of the reason Hondas are tall is because of the giant muffler they put on them and where they put it. The top of the generator is about here, the gas tank ends. It's a little gas tank, a little lip comes down. But the muffler is up here above the engine because it's a really tall canister, about yay tall, yay wide, and yay long. And then the exhaust comes out the top here where I can feel it. So it doesn't have a nice external tube exhaust to bring down and away. So the compartments would be very odd. The Onan, on the other hand, has an exhaust that comes out and down the bottom, and they do a tube and they run the CO2 and carbon monoxide and all the gases out and away. As you can see, the Onan sits on some sturdy metal brackets. It's a welded frame screwed into the frame here. I'm thinking I'm going to take this Onan out, take these out, put it down lower, make a mount that holds full extension heavy-duty drawer slides, and then I'm going to cut a hole in this compartment here, and I'm going to put piano hinge, and I'll be able to lift up the whole thing. That'll let all the exhaust out. Whether I need to pull it out for use or just for maintenance, I don't know. It certainly is not going to be as easy to start up by just pushing the button from inside the camper. I will be able to make a remote start connection. That won't be a problem, but the question is exhaust gas. I don't want heat building up in this small compartment. And we'll keep you informed. One of the first things I did once I got this generator used is I took the handles off by taking these covers off. Real simple, 4 bolts per handle, pull them out, handles are gone, shorten the distance considerably. I know it'll fit in that compartment. It's a little tall for the sitting right now. It's exactly 20 inches, and that's how tall that compartment is. So that won't do. Depth is just fine, so I'm going to see what I can do here and keep you guys informed. This is the first one. We'll see what happens. Okay, I jumped ahead here. I didn't do some filming when I probably should have, but I think we're kind of up to date. Basically, I unscrewed the 4 long screws holding the Onan in. I used a block and a hoist there, a floor jack, to raise it up over the ledge through this piece of aluminum bar in so I can begin to slide it out. And then I reached in and I've disconnected the electrical. Let's show you that. Disconnected the electrical, disconnected the propane after shutting off the propane. And before I did any of this, I disconnected the positive of the battery. And because I was going to be touching some 110 volt right there, I disconnected the 110 cord from the side of the machine. And so therefore there is no power going into here, nor is there any propane. So right now I'm just going to kind of wiggle it out and slide it onto this, get that up close to it, and maybe have to go get some 2x4s to make a little land bridge. It feels, I don't know how heavy the Onan is, I'll have to check weight, but yeah, is that going to fit in there? And with the modification of the bracketry, which I'm going to do after the Onan is out, I think I'll be able to do it. Okay. So I thought I'd check to make sure there was enough room on these whips of this electric wire here And there is, to drag the whole thing out and do the disconnects while they're outside of the unit, because it'll be easier to get to everything. I've already disconnected the propane line, so the last thing is the 12-volt direct battery cables, which I may not connect the Honda up through those, because the Honda says it doesn't charge the batteries directly 12-volt very well, that it's not designed to do that. So I'm going to hook it up so it charges through the 110 connection as though it was plugged into the house. And let me get my unit in the way here and we'll see how it goes. So here's how it looks. It does appear to be a little lighter weight of a generator, or so it feels when I'm sliding it. I just got to go around to the other side, disconnect those. One's the control remote start with probably the 12-volt prime on the propane. That's the little clip connect is right there. And then I got the positive and negative battery terminals that I need to disconnect. I may fish them out, I may just safe them off. I'm not sure at this point. And then I'm going to take that metal rack out, and I'll build a new rack that will hold the generator, the bottom of the Honda generator, lower. And then I'm going to cut a hole in the side there with a door that I can open up to let the exhaust out of this compartment when it's running. I think it'll work. I'm excited. Okay, more in a minute. There it is. It's out. Now you can see the difference between the two units. This is designed to be dealt with from one end. It's got some little propane thing with an electronic valve here. I'm going to figure out what that is. I'll look online and see what part that is and what it does. Maybe that's the primer, the 12-volt primer. But you can see how much difference in height and everything it is. They definitely designed this to be dealt with from one side only. It's not the easiest to maintain. I'll show you more on that later. You could have a side exhaust or a bottom exhaust, depending on whether you put a 90-degree in there. Once the whole cover comes off, it's easy to get access to everything. We'll do that on another video, kind of examine it. Now, we're not going to put this in yet. I mean, I still have to convert it over to propane. I ordered a propane conversion kit. I'll show you how that goes in. It's not going to be too difficult, fairly straightforward. But I went for one with a little more than the cheapest one, which was stick a little hose in the way and call it a thing. Yeah, I don't plan to ever run gas in this after I install it. And then I'm going to look at how I'm going to hook it up to the 110. Am I going to use the plug right there? Or am I going to wire it up through the internal wiring up there? And that all depends on how, once I get it back in the shop and I take it apart again, if I can get access to wiring inside here. Or maybe I'll put a twist lock in there, put a little super glue on the plug so it doesn't jiggle loose, and wire that plug straight into that box there. Many things to decide. First thing though is, how am I going to install the bracketry? And apparently this metal frame here that the Onan sits on is just a welded steel tube frame screwed horizontally with some number 10 screws into the frame of the camper. And I'm kind of picturing that if I take that down and out, I can build a new frame that I put into there, that I can slide the Honda up into this compartment from below. Because to me, fishing it out of this sucks. Sliding it in from below makes more sense. Mostly because I can use a floor jack instead of body power. So that'll be in the future. I'm going to figure out how to edit this and put it back up on YouTube for you soon. See how many people tune in. Thanks.